We were moving from Athens, Georgia to St. Louis, Missouri. And Pago always went with us wherever we went. We never left her. We probably left our child more than we left Pago.
I called my major professor, who I had met because I went there to interview to go to graduate school in sculpture. He said, I'd like you to stay in my house and keep my house for 2 weeks while I take my family back to Michigan to see my family.
And so we go, okay. We were young, we took on most any challenges. And he said, but there's several rules.
He was a kind of a rough, kind of Irish, kind of like a dock worker kind of guy. And
he kind of would come in with this rule, Jim Sterrett's rules, and whip the rules into try to whip his students into line. And this was, I think, part of his strategy was here's this young graduate student and family coming up, and boy, he was going to show them the rules.
He said 2 things. He said, when you're staying here, he said, number 1, and he just pointed down to Pago, he says, I don't want that dog sleeping in the house.
Well, I didn't think much of that. I was going to ignore that because Pago had always lived in the house and had always slept right at the foot of our bed.
And rule number 2, he said, my daughter has a collection of little chickens that are her favorite chickens, and I want to be sure that that dog doesn't touch any of those chickens.
I'd never seen this kind of chicken. They were guinea hens.
And so I said, oh, Mr. Sterrett, no problem.
At some point in time, I can't really recall when, but we realized that the guinea hens were disappearing.
And it was, by the end of day 2, they were all dead. She killed every single one of young Mary's favorite chickens. So, I was a young graduate student. It didn't seem like that big of a deal to me.
And so we were kind of, in a pickle here because here we were keeping this place, and our dog had, not only did we disobey the house rules of letting the dog in the house, we also disobeyed the farm rules of letting our dog eat the chickens. So
when Jim and his family came back, the first thing he said was, "Where are the chickens?"
Well, they're not around anymore because Pago enjoyed the chickens and consumed them. They're gone.
And so he says, I'm going to kill that dog. And so I said, no, please don't do that. You can't do that. I'm sorry. We'll work this out. I'll be here for 2 years, I hope. We'll work this out.
And he was pretty furious. He was very, very angry. And but he also actually understood. I mean, he was a character in and of himself.
From then on, whenever I would have my dog in the truck or go to the studio and have my dog, and Jim would see this dog, he would come running to the dog like, I'm going to kill that dog. And anyway, I don't think he really was going to ever kill the dog. But what I did was, when I was going to graduate, it's time for graduation, we had taken a picture of Pago. In the picture, she has her tongue kind of slurped around her nose like this, like she's just eating something. And so I took this photograph, and I took the photograph and said to Jim Sterrett, "Thanks for the chicken dinner. Your friend forever, Pago." And put it in a photograph in a frame and gave it to him at my graduation. And when I gave it to him, he just got this kind of instant kind of red face, and he took the photograph. He took the frame off immediately and took the photograph and put it on the door of his studio where he had a dartboard. He said, "This is my new dartboard." So we have this picture of Pago with thousands of dart holes.